If you're still working, then it's highly likely that you're thinking about retirement. But many people are just not sure when to take the plunge. And yep, that was me. So today I'm going to just share with you my story that may hopefully assist you in your own personal retirement journey. And for me, there wasn't one big light bulb moment where I just went, right, it's time to retire. There were several sort of nudges along the way that sort of put me in a position where I thought, okay, I was in a position where I was able to, and secondly, where it was actually just time to take the plunge. So I'm going to share each of those 4 nudges with you. Plus, I'm also going to leave with you something that I've put together that may serve as a basis to get towards your end goal a little bit quicker and a little bit more easy than what you might think it is right now. So be sure to stick around with that. If you're a new or returning viewer, my name's Paul. Thanks for stopping by. And this is a channel where I share all things relating to retirement, travel and purpose. So the first one for me was just coming to the realisation that I was done with work. My working career was 42 years thereabouts, but I guess if you add on when I worked after school, I had a job after school working in a supermarket. I continued doing that in my first few years of full-time work. I always had a good work ethic. I was sort of someone that, could always be relied upon to turn up. I hardly ever took any sick days. I was a good hard worker, but like anything, there just comes a time when enough is enough. A couple of years ago, late in my career, I took a bit of a break, which I'll expand on in a second. But when I returned to work after taking that break and getting back into the routine, the commute, dealing with all the day-to-day politics and what happens in the workplace, as I said, I just realised I was done and this wasn't for me anymore. I felt I'd achieved what I wanted to achieve in my career and I really didn't have too much more energy to expend. And I just reached the conclusion was, yep, I think my time's up. And I wasn't really excited about going to work anymore. As I mentioned before, I took a break. I had sort of, I guess I've called it a taste of retirement. I took what initially was going to be a 3-month break and ended up being 6. And in that time, I just didn't miss work. I absolutely loved the freedom and having the choice to be able to wake up and get your day started when you wanted to. Enjoyed traveling and just not being under that pressure and living under that framework of like in the routine, as I mentioned before. Alarm clock goes off. You're pretty much thinking in work mode straight away. It was just a complete sort of step away from it. And it certainly, I guess, was the forerunner. Not that I really knew it at the time, but it really was, it was the basis for me, making the call to retire. And with the benefit of hindsight, it's helped me formulate what is a catch cry here on the channel, and that is maximise the youth of your retirement. And in that break, I was doing the things I just said, travel and enjoying having freedom and most importantly, having the energy to do it. Another big important one here is from a financial perspective. I looked at my own personal situation and came to the realisation that, yep, I think I can retire. I'm not here to give you advice on this, but what I will do is give you some insights into my line of thinking and the things that were important to me and the things that needed some boxes ticked. A big part of the whole financial component for me was engaging the services of a financial planner. I did that probably back in my late 40s, so it wasn't like I sort of did it in the lead up years to retirement. It was something that I saw the need to do at the time when I was working really hard, earning good money at the peak of my career, I guess, and in a position where I could contribute to my retirement fund. And the advice that I was given was pretty basic, and it pretty much served me right through. And I think that's something that can relate to everybody here. And the cornerstone of it was getting as much into my retirement fund as quickly as I could, or while I had the means to be able to do that. And secondly, the other one was clearing out financial debt. Those two components are something that everybody can resonate. I mean, obviously, I'm from Australia, and the retirement fund process in the UK and North America is somewhat different, but the fundamentals are the same, and that is to get money in while you're working. I think in each of our respective countries, a government or a state pension or social security income, you don't get to your 67. I'm turning 60 this year, and that's never been part of my retirement plan. Maybe down the track when I get to an age and stage where I qualify for it, but at the moment it's not. It's enabled me to be able to retire at 59 rather than wait till I get a state pension or social security, and that be the cornerstone of retirement. So that was my line of thinking, and it's something that I think again is worth going and having a chat to a financial planner about. The other one being debt is that for me, and it's something that my parents, taught me earlier in the piece, and speaking to some other retirees, that debt and retirement, for me, don't go hand in hand. And it was important to clear debt out before I could tick the retirement box. I think if you've got a situation where you are carrying some debt, again, seek some advice around how you can manage it, because at the end of the day, right now, if you've got it, debt is controlling you. You need to get into a situation where you're controlling it. The other one, of course, is having investments outside of retirement. This is a case-by-case basis for individuals, but that's certainly something else that can assist. And again, seek the appropriate means. And again, just to wrap up the financial component, the big one here for me is getting the advice and knowing the facts rather than just assuming. You see a lot of stuff in various forums. I read a lot, I listen to podcasts, and people think, oh, I need this, and you know, retirement's not attainable. What I keep hearing consistently, though, is that, you know, you'd be surprised how much you actually do need. It's quite often lower than what you actually think it is. But again, that comes down to getting the right advice and having the facts presented to you and making a plan that's based around that and something that's attainable. Purpose for me was the missing piece. I'd had the other three pretty much in place for a year or so prior to making the call. Purpose was something I just thought, well, what am I going to do every day? I can't just wake up and be on holidays and just, you know, go through the motions. I don't want to do that. I didn't want to work. I was in a position financially where I could, but, you know, what was I going to do? So anyway, out of the blue, YouTube found me, and I've made that my purpose. But I guess the point is, you'll have your own thing. You'll know what that is. But I think the underlying sort of key to having purpose is being able to, when you do make the call to retire, you're stepping out of one thing, but you're stepping into another thing and just continuing as you are with fulfillment day to day. So as I said, those four components, or the four nudges, they didn't all happen at the same time. I didn't have them. They came to me sort of step by step. But once those 4 stars aligned, I then took the plunge, and here we are in retirement. Okay, so before I actually share this last piece to leave with you, yes, I have had to move because I was in a city park, as you could tell, and the grounds maintenance staff came in with their lawnmowers and whippersnippers, so that wasn't going to make for a good combination. So I'm in a new spot. So. But now what I do want to do is just leave something with you to ponder over that may actually assist. Because whilst I appear super organised, the reality and truth is that I wasn't. So if this is where you are, and maybe you've only got 1 or 2 things happening of what I've just shared, or maybe you don't have any and you're really at the start of your retirement journey, well, that's quite okay, because that's quite normal also. YouTube is a big part of my retirement journey, and to be quite frank with you, it's really helped me embrace retirement and really get actively and proactive within it. And as part of this, I've created something which I'm calling the 5 steps to a structured retirement plan. And again, look, this isn't advice, but they're just some things that I've put together with the benefit of hindsight, that if I'd had these 5 things as 5 things to aim for, I'm not sure if I would have got to retirement any earlier than what I have, but I certainly would have got there with a little bit more direction than what I did. Because as I touched on before, a lot of my journey just fell into place. And if I'd had these sort of 5 things to strive for, it might have been a bit easier. I'll leave the 5 steps in the description box below. There'll also be a link to another video which I've specifically made that pertains to those 5 steps. So if you've got a minute, take a look at them, and hopefully it might set you in the right direction. So there you have it, guys. That's my story, and I hope that might go some way towards helping you and give you a little bit of a nudge if you're needing one. There's no real correct formula. As I've said, everybody's circumstances are different, but everybody deserves the opportunity to enjoy retirement. So I hope this goes some way towards helping you get there. And if you've enjoyed the content of today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, because it really does help the channel. Hit the subscribe button so you're up to date with all the latest content. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Really appreciate you watching today, and bye for now.